Hi, hopefully you can hear me okay. Waterfall. Oh, I'll show you. There we go, got a stick. Waterfall behind me. It's a bit windy, so hopefully you can hear me okay. But I've come out here. Come here to meet. Well, not here, not from here to meet. I've come out to a village called Caldbeck, North Lake District, past Skiddaw, to meet someone, a lady called Alice at a wolf cooperative. And I thought, while I was up here, I'll have a look what else is around. And I saw that there's a mill, an old mill. And I've just found this bonus waterfall as well. I took a couple of pictures while I was up there. There was no point filming. I had to be careful where I was standing. And it was way too noisy. The waterfall was pretty noisy. But I'm at the mill now. Here we go, an old Bobbin Mill. So this is called Howk Bobbin Mill. And like I said, we're in Calder. Well, not Calder, sorry, Caldbeck. You can see through there, but I can't. There's something scary down there. No ghosts. So this is an old bobbin mill, which means that they made bobbins. So there'd have been a wood lathe and well, wood lathes, and I don't know a huge amount about it. I only found out about this place this morning. I just thought I'll have a little look, see what's around here. And as you can see, it's pretty phenomenal. I had no idea this was here. I literally just thought, I wonder what else is in the area. And this is a 10-minute walk from where I was going to meet Alice. There's a bit of old mechanism up on the wall there. It's quite cool, isn't it? And this had a water wheel. I guess around here would have been where the water wheel was. Up there you can see 1857 AD, which actually isn't that old for this area. It's just a little bit swampy down here in this part for some reason. This is cool, isn't it? I like that. I haven't found out some things about it, like what it is, what it did, but not a huge amount. So yeah, there it is. Another bit of a building over there, some sort of outbuilding. I don't know what that is. Can you guys see a water wheel evidence down there? No. Well. Okay, so I found this picture here. Some information, which isn't massively easy to read. But the Howk Bobbin Mill. Didn't run for that long, really. I went up, this is where I've just been up the gorge. You guys can't really see that very well. But here's the old picture. Look at that, that's cool, isn't it? So there's quite a lot going on there. And then, so this building here is just that shot there. You can see the rest of it. And then the water wheel is enormous. So it is right at the back, approximately where we sort of thought it might be. How cool is that? I think it's very cool. So I'm here to talk to, I'm not here, like I keep saying, I'm not here to talk to Alice. I'm going somewhere called the Wool Clip, which is a cooperative that's been set up by a group of women involved in sheep farming in the Lake District. And I'm here to talk to Alice today, and I just thought I'd come here. So this is a bobbin mill, and I believe it was more for the cotton industry rather than for wool, is what I understand bobbins to be have been produced for. I might be wrong. It's really cool, isn't it? Kind of feels a shame. I've taken loads of pictures, but it kind of feels a shame to just sort of go. Maybe I'll draw it a little bit. Yeah. So I did a little bit of sketching, and some people came and talked to me, which was lovely. And I've just decided to get a move on because a large family appeared, which is, oh, that's a bit crazy. The 80s. Anyway, and really, I don't mind family's been around, but anyway, no. I just need to get a move on again because I do need to go and see Alice and chat to her. does actually look like a few of the buildings around here were mills of some sort at one point or another, so I'm going to have to do a bit of research into it. I've got one of those books I got, Buildings of the Lake District, didn't have any reference to Caldbeck in it, and I don't know if maybe it's because at the time it wasn't within the Lake District borders. Shut the gate properly. Now it is, or I might be wrong, it might have always been in the Lake District borders, because just behind me, that big fell there, is Skiddaw. So we really are only just on the other side of all the big fells and lakes. But maybe this wasn't quite the Lake District when that book was made. Or maybe for whatever reason they didn't think it was important, because that mill wasn't in it either. So it might just be that it became a ruin quite quickly, that mill, and they didn't put it in. Anyway, right, my hair's having a nightmare, so I'm gonna go. So there's even evidence of a water wheel there previously. So I have to look into this. Okay, so the wall clip where I'm heading is down here. So I'm going to go and talk to Alice. Church is nice. I'm going to go and talk to Alice. I'm not going to film or record that conversation because it's not for that. But I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so I got back in the car. It's quite windy outside now. So anyway, great conversation with Alice. Lovely building. There was no photos allowed. I've been allowed to take one photograph, which was of a board of different types of wool. I bought some of Alice's wool. Alice has Manx. There we go. I bought some of Alice's, and a lady called Ruth, who has, I think she has 1,000 ewes, so a bit of a bigger operation than Alice. Only has a couple. I think she had 10. She said Ruth has far more. Swaredales, and I bought some Swaredale as well, so they're another one that live quite high up on the fells. So time to head home. Okay, so back home, and well, it's Sunday today. I was there out in Calbeck on Thursday, and I appreciate some of it is probably quite hard to hear because of the waterfalls, and it was a bit windy as well, so I'll do what I can, so hopefully the sound is a bit cleared up. But anyway, back home, and I'm sat at the easel. There's nothing on the easel at the moment. I'm going to be starting a new big drawing in a week or so. I've got to hand in my project proposal this Friday, so this week I'm just going to be tidying that up, getting that ready to submit, and then hopefully sending that off on Thursday, and then I'm going to start doing the work in it properly. So if you watched last week's video, you'll know what that's about. Since then I've had a bit more of a thought around it, so I went and talked to Alice on Thursday, like I said, at the Wool Clip, which is a wool cooperative. I'll leave the link to them in the description of this episode. And I've also been and talked to Mary at her farm near Patterdale, and it sort of wobbles up. It sort of occurred to me as I was driving home from Caldbeck what perhaps I should be looking at with this, because I knew wool economy was the idea. Wool economy in the Lake District, great. I wanted to draw wool. I wanted to draw close-ups of the wool in different forms. So that's not just going to be like wool on the sheep. That's going to be, or the fleece on the sheep. It's also going to be some of the wool. The camera's wobbling because I've started talking, so wool has naturally got up and started wandering around. Some of that is going to be, like I say, wool fleece that is on the sheep. Some of it is going to be the bits of wool that I've been buying, which I've shown you sort of briefly, which is like wool fleet tops, they're called. So this is off of Herdwick. This is one of Mary's Herdwicks. Some of it's going to be that, and then some of it is also going to be like macro shots of knitted products. I'm going to draw that. I'm also going to use photography a lot in this project, but not just like photographs of sheep. It's going to be macro images of the wool, and to take those I've used a light box. And do you know what, phones are actually really good at macro shots. So I've not used my camera, I don't have a macro lens for my proper camera, but I have bought a macro lens for my phone, which I will show you just now. Get that on there. So there you go, I'm all blurry because it's
it's a wide angle lens sort of. And then if I hold my face up to it, there you go. You can see that in really good detail. And that's the front camera as well. So that is probably the worst camera on the phone. I just got that off the internet for I think it's about £40, which isn't bad at all for what it is. Some of them, so you can spend more, but I didn't want to for a start, and also didn't need to. I'm going to be looking at different photography options as well, so not just camera photos, but microscope photos as well. I don't have a microscope, however I know people that do, so I'm going to go and talk to people, see what the chances are of getting some SEM images made, which is like what Cornelia Parker used in that Bronte and Abstracts book that I've talked about a few times. So anyway, I think I was talking about wool. So yeah, it said that I wanted to look at wool. I wanted to look at wool economy in the Lake District. I'm going to draw these pictures, I'm going to take all these photographs, I'm going to look at different ways of doing it, different ways of documenting it. And I had this idea of sort of doing that, but it didn't really have a sort of anything other than the really broad wool economy thing. There was nothing really to sort of say why those images, why those things. And that was something I was wrestling with a bit. And then as I drove home on Thursday, it sort of occurred to me that everyone I've spoke to about this so far has been a woman. Mostly because, just by absolute chance, that's the route I've ended up finding into this, is through women that are working to preserve wool and wool crafts in the Lake District. And I thought, well, that's what it is then, isn't it? That's the story. That's what this is about. This is about the women behind it almost. So, and then drawing these really detailed pictures and really detailed images of the wool fibres is kind of, it's almost like a detailed look at the care into these sheep and things like that. And I knew there was something in it, and it just hadn't quite become obvious to me yet. And anyway, on the way home, that's what it is. So it's wool economy in the Lake District, and it's the women driving wool economy in the Lake District, looking at it through the sheep that they care for. Is essentially where I'm at. So that's what's going to be happening. What I've done so far is I've taken some macro images of the wool, messed around with that a little bit using a light box, and I've also started to scan in some of the wools as well. You can get some, I've got quite a good scanner upstairs, and you can get some really, really nice scans of things like this. So yeah, scanning the wool, and then I'm just sort of looking at different ways of capturing it as well. And anyway, I've got no drawings to show you this week, and like I say, I'll probably start drawing again properly. I'll be doing sketchbook stuff, I've got that going on. I'll probably show you some sketchbook stuff next week, and then I'll get another big drawing on the go using the handmade paper. And I think I'm going to try and get a trip to the handmade paper place in at some point, because I'm going to need some more. And the stuff that I've used isn't the stuff they sell on the website. It's like offcuts almost, or like pieces that have gone a bit wrong. So I think I'm going to have to go and ask them nicely if I can buy some more of that from them. We'll see. Anyway, right. Photographing rugby this afternoon, but I'm not going to bore you with that. There's nothing else I can really tell you about that at the moment, so I'm not going to. And we're just going to leave it there for now. And I hope you have a nice weekend. I hope you've had a nice weekend. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.